Cynics on Disney podcast contains adult language. Listener discretion is advised.
This is the Cynics on Disney podcast, presented by Nightclub33.com.
Welcome into this week's episode of the Cynics on Disney podcast. I'm your host, Bobby, aka the Disney Cynic, and joining me tonight instead of my wife, my most common part of the tricycle, whenever we do have a guest on the show, that would be CFO of NotClub33.com, Mr. Patrick Neistat. Pat, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well. I'm glad to be on the show. And
well, good. Thank you. I appreciate you doing this. It's so you guys know, we're going to talk a little bit about it tonight. Okay. It's been a hell of a fucking time down here. Okay. It has been like a hell of a time. That's the only way I can describe it. Okay. So in the last month, I want you guys to understand this. I have been through 2 hurricanes, a major career presentation, and my wife has had a couple of ER visits and a surgery, all within the last 6 weeks.
Yeah,
like it's a hell of a thing. So this, by the way, guys, is why the last couple of episodes have been inconsistent. You know, normally our recording time would have been last week, and we would have recorded in the middle of the hurricane, but it became a hassle to pack up all the equipment and all that shit. And really, we just wanted to get over there and get settled and order room service before they sent that poor waitress home, you know, which is a true story.
they went home.
But, no, the waitress did. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't know if they had let them stay or had a room for them possibly, or.
Oh yeah. They have volunteers, like for any staff, like, and they will put you up. You know, it's not like they're going to make you work the whole time, although they do find things for a lot of people to do, certainly, because it is a skeleton crew. And I gotta say this, man, like, Disney has certainly been known for the gold standard for service, right? You know, and that's I certainly don't think so over the past several years, if not a decade or more. But that's what the expectation is, right? And then I think for the longest time, even up to and sometimes including now, I've always thought of Universal as kind of like the I don't know, it's sketchy, you know. Like I've always thought of Universal like that, and that's there's no reason why I automatically thought that, you know, but like there's a reason. You know, it sounds stupid, but I think it was just super cheap to go to Universal when I was a kid compared to Disney. And yeah, you kind of look down on it, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
like, you know how classist stuff can be. But I gotta say, man,
to your defense, Universal for a long time was that kind of cheaper, less themed place to go.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you look at the theme, right? You know, and this is kind of what I'm now hearkening back to with a little bit of Hollywood Studios. Like, if you look at what the intention of Universal Studios was, which was to be a studio backlot, much like the original intention of Hollywood Studios, then it is well themed, right? Because you're going to different sets of various movies, and like The Mummy, one of the better rides from what I understand over there. Like, Amanda loved that thing. She hated the movies, but loved that ride. And even the premise of that ride is we're filming the sequel to The Mummy. You know, it is we're in a movie. Like, you're not even having to suspend the disbelief of walking into their monsters universe or whatever. It's just less complicated, perhaps.
Sure. Yeah.
But the theming is absolutely there when you look at it from that type of perspective. Okay. And I'm gaining an appreciation for Universal as time goes on. And as now this is my second hurricane that I've ridden out over at Universal, I once again I have to extend the highest of compliments to the staff over at the Sapphire Falls Resort,
Great.
over at Universal Studios, guys. They were fantastic from minute one, and I mean that from minute one. We walked into the resort, and the I get to the check in, and I mean, we couldn't tell Universal that we had Cooper, and that's part of the reason why we chose Universal. We couldn't tell them that we had the dog with us when we booked online. So I had to go up and say, "Hey, like we have a dog with like," and I'm expecting there to be like a hassle to find a room and everything like that.
Sure.
I mean, people are canceling travel and getting stuck in the hurricane. Like that's the kind of circumstance that
Hmm.
we're in. And then on top of that, you got a bunch of locals like me who are like, I don't want to deal with this without power and all that shit. And it's better to write it out in what's basically a bomb shelter,
Right.
than my house that structurally it's sound. It's still here, but
Right.
it's been a while since there's been a roof, you know?
Yeah.
So look, they were fantastic. And like from the check-in experience, man, they're like, look, uh, this is all the pet fees are waived. We're
Huh.
like,
There you go.
because we understand you're coming here for the hurricane. Like,
Sure.
like
Wow.
that's
That's cool.
huge.
Yeah.
They didn't have to do that.
No.
If I'd gone to the Holiday Inn, they would have charged me a pet fee.
Yeah, but let me ask you a question. Is there just like a wing of the hotel that has dogs or,
No,
floor, certain
no.
floor, or just any room can have a fucking dog?
Um, when it's a hurricane and when it's an emergency situation where an evacuation is in place, they
Yeah.
just say all comers. And that
Okay.
is something that I genuinely respect about
Sure.
Universal. They'll say they'll take everybody until they don't have any more rooms.
There you go.
And if you've got a dog, cat, whatever, they'll bring them. I think they draw the line at something like kangaroo or
Oh,
iguanodon,
yeah.
which
I wonder how those
it
rooms
sounds
get cleaned,
ridiculous.
though. You know,
What's that?
I
Oh, I'm
wonder how
sure that
those rooms get cleaned afterwards.
okay. So I mean, they have vacuum cleaners, man. They have washing
I know,
machines. It all like washes out. And yes,
eventually.
just knowing that there's a dog there will enact certain protocols.
I'm more
Certain,
worried about cats because they go like piss in the corner, and you
yeah,
know how cats are.
that's
Dogs, you know, you take out, you kind of they tell you when they got to go to the bathroom.
yeah.
Cats get in a weird environment, you know, who knows what the fuck they're doing.
Well, I don't. I can't speak to it because I don't have a cat. Because I,
Hmm.
like you, think cats are pure and unadulterated evil. They are the closest thing to the devil incarnate on this planet. So, um, I've just never had good experience. I'm also allergic to them, so fuck
I
that.
me too,
But
and that would be my concern. Like since they are letting the animals in, I'm highly allergic to cat, and so I just wondering how they clean. I'm sure
I'm sure
maybe
that
they
it's
do a full
thorough. I
scale
don't know.
cleaning. Yeah.
I got to be honest. I don't know, but I
So
do know
so
that from my perspective, when I needed a place to go that was safe, they were there for me. And that's huge.
sure, yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome. Would you say what Sapphire Falls? How does that? Is that like is it deluxe? Is it moderate? How does that fall in their value and their line of hotels?
I feel like the closest analog to it would be something like Old Key West.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
Okay, so and I don't mean that not in terms of accommodations or resort setup or anything like that. I
Oh,
mean
okay.
that in terms of like level of accommodation. Okay, so
Yeah.
Old Key West is not a moderate by any stretch, but it's
No,
not as luxurious as the Grand Floridian or
right.
Riviera or even really Beach Club or
Sure.
something like that. But it's still
Hmm.
classified in that same category as deluxe, right? We just all
Right.
know it's kind of on the lower end of
Right.
deluxe.
Right.
This is the same thing. It's not the same as Hard Rock or Portofino Bay. Those are the big ones over there for deluxe, but this is in the same
Okay.
category.
Gotcha.
And because we had Florida resident rate, we got a 40% discount. I think
Oh,
they might have
wow.
also kind of greased it a little bit and given us a hurricane rate too. I don't
Oh,
know.
wow.
They didn't advertise it as such.
Uh-huh.
But like it was $200 basically. I think the final bill was 220
Oh, $200. That's pretty good price, I would say.
for one night. Not just one night, I should say. It's not just one night. We checked in early. We checked in at like 11 o'clock or something like that.
Right, yeah.
On the Wednesday, the day that the storm was supposed to arrive. Went through the storm overnight. Wake up the next morning, it's still like coming through. And once like I noticed the storm really starting to break, um, that's when I start to pack things up a little bit, and
Uh-huh.
I went back to the house to check to see if we had power, um, because
And that's a
once
30-minute drive for you?
yeah, roughly. I mean, it's not too far. So
Yeah.
I drove up, checked. We did have power, and at that point, my immediate focus was get out of their hotel. Not because I hated it. I would have loved to have stayed there. Actually, the we did book it for that Thursday night,
Uh-huh.
and I would have loved to have actually stayed there that night too,
Yeah.
and like been able to maybe see the resort at uh, full operation.
So is
Um,
it just a big fucking hotel? That like a big building like
yeah,
Riviera or
kind of.
something like that? Yeah.
Think Riviera, but if it had the lobby
Okay.
over at Kidani, like
Oh,
that's the
oh,
size of the lobby.
yeah.
Uh,
I gotcha.
and it's got kind of a beach theme to it,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
like kind of a Caribbean beach type color
Gotcha.
palette.
And then were
Um,
you in a studio, I guess?
yeah, it's just a standard hotel.
Mm-hmm. Standard room,
And
two
this is
queens. Were
yeah,
they real
and
queens?
no, they were the Disney doubles. Or maybe this is just what the real queen is, and I haven't slept in a queen bed in God knows how long.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a little tight quartered there for us
So
and
you
the
guys,
car.
did you guys experience any restaurants there or food?
Yes,
Um,
yes, we did. As a matter of fact, we experienced room service first off,
hmm.
which, listen, guys, I got to be honest with you. This is my favorite line of the whole thing. Um, my boss lives out on the East Coast, and they were under tornadoes and stuff like that. And so I'm like, oh shit, here we go. I'm texting him, hey, you got power? Are you okay? And everything like that. And he's like,
Mhm.
yeah, we stayed at home and we paid a guy to close the shutter so all the windows are good and everything. But yeah, there was tornadoes. It wasn't fun. Then of course he's like, but mate, hey, you're like in the middle of the store. How are you? I'm like, um, I, my biggest concern right now is what time the bar opens and what time room service closes. So,
Right. Yeah.
um, that's the way to ride out a hurricane.
Sounds like
That
it.
oh, it was great. Room service was fantastic. They delivered up until 5 o'clock the day of the hurricane, and before they let everybody go home for their shift and everything, which that gave them plenty of time to get prepared and everything. You
Right.
had to volunteer to work those days with the hurricane, so nobody felt guilty about like, oh, this person's
Sure.
stranded or anything like that. Those who wanted to
And
leave
who
left.
knows? Maybe they're getting paid extra or something too to work.
Exactly. You were
So,
incentivized to stay, you know,
yeah.
and that's the beauty of it. They were just very accommodating, very welcoming. Um,
Perfect.
they had buffets set up for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Uh, you know, and I want to try to compare like experiences. You see some of the social media stuff about like what Disney's doing, and they're like, eh, they're selling you $10 peanut butter jelly boxes,
That
and
could
like
have been all they were getting though.
No, well, at first glance,
Okay.
it sounds ridiculous and like a dick move, but like they actually
Yeah.
gave you like a loaf of bread and like a jar of peanut butter and a jar of jelly. It was like a real thing, you know? So I, if you had bought the same stuff at Publix, I think you would have come out maybe actually a little bit behind. So you
Oh.
you were coming out ahead with it. It just looked bad. They were selling you peanut butter and jelly for $10. Um, you know, the restaurant, the main restaurant, I believe it's called Anastasia, or something like that. Um, that was closed the whole
Oh,
time that
okay.
we were
So they
there.
essentially just put out a buffet
No, they
as the
they did
as
have
the
enough.
main.
They had a second restaurant that was open. It was like the bar
Oh, okay.
restaurant.
Gotcha.
And then they also had quick service available. So and their quick
Oh,
service is a little bit different than Disney's. It's a little bit kind of like a combination of a food court slash gift shop, if that makes any sense,
oh,
like a
kind of like
sundries
All
shop.
Stars or something.
Yeah, a little. Like you don't. It's not a food court per se because you don't go and sit around after you pick up your
Oh,
sandwich or whatever. But like
uh-huh.
you order it like a quick service style thing, and then you just go take it back to your room or whatever. But
Gotcha.
they had pizzas,
Okay.
they had sandwiches, hot and cold, which I appreciated because I fucking hate cold sandwiches, man. So hot sandwiches, ah, just wonderful. Um, like they did a fantastic job of just being accommodating with a limited staff. Like they couldn't be fully open, and they picked their places where they wanted people to be, and they did a good job of directing traffic.
Hmm.
I think like the thing that strikes you when you go through one of these things is that, um, like I think a lot of people think, oh, I'm just going to go ride this out in my hotel room, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, there's like a component to that, where I did put my feet up and just kind of sit there and watch the storm from my window and everything. But I also got like stir crazy, like crazy, like seriously, like I had to get out a little bit. So like I did go to the lobby and stuff, and
Yeah.
like that's where like they did a great job of directing a lot of traffic. I think because a lot
Okay.
of people were like me; they wanted to get out and grab a beer and just kind of be social for a minute, if
Sure.
nothing else, um, and maybe not feel so confined while they got this big ass storm barreling down on them
Sure.
a little. But it's cool to hang out in the lobby for a little bit
Yeah.
too.
So let me ask you a question. Why Universal and not Disney? Why didn't you? Did you look into Disney? Did
Yes,
you?
multiple
And
reasons. One, the dog. Um, you can't
so,
just show up at any old Disney resort with a dog, and get away with it and get a room. Um, I believe only 3 or 4 resorts are
uh-huh.
accommodating to letting a dog be in the room, and that's
Okay.
very select rooms, and that's like it's at yacht club, that you have to do this, or if it's at Port Orleans, and you fucking know I'm not staying at Port Orleans, um, hurricane or not, I'll ride it out in my truck, not rather than Port Orleans again. I've already had a power outage there, so I already know what it's like. Um, I like Disney does not welcome locals anymore, and I don't mean to say that as like oh, they're targeting Floridians, but like their focus is the traveler and the
Sure.
tourist. And so they wanted to make sure that they had all the rooms available for anybody who traveled here because the international flights and all that stuff, I understand.
Yeah.
Uh,
And maybe the people that couldn't get out needed rooms,
right.
that kind of thing. Yeah.
But you
Makes sense.
also have kind of like I don't want to say an obligation, but you should have some sort of desire when you're in a situation like this to help your neighbor. And Disney is not very accommodating in that sense either.
Hmm.
They shut off reservations, first of all, so we couldn't book a room even if we
You
wanted
just
to.
couldn't. So you
Right.
couldn't go on their website and book a room, just boom,
No,
gone.
they
You could
restricted it
call
due to
them.
the hurricane. What's that?
Could you call?
I did not call.
Could you
Once you
though?
just, yeah, once you just get told no for
Yeah,
multiple reasons, because the
yeah,
dog, because the website says you can't even book it. Why try?
gotcha. Yeah, I mean,
There's no reason. And then on top of that, even if I could book, they wouldn't have given me a discounted rate. They wouldn't have given me a yacht club room or something like that
for two
for
hundred
200
bucks.
bucks.
No, no,
So like that's what I mean by it's not anti-Florida, it's pro tourist. But
sure.
also, like, man, in this situation, you just got to be able. Anybody who walks in, you got to say, "Come on," you know
Sure. Yeah.
that should be the attitude, and that's not
They
the
didn't even
impression
have
that
rooms
Disney
at the
gave.
All Stars?
I don't know. Couldn't find out.
Didn't know. Couldn't find out.
That's how it
Well,
went.
I mean, that makes it easy. I mean, it's not like because you've stayed there before. Same place, was it?
Yeah, Sapphire
In
Falls,
Sapphire Falls.
which is why we
So this is
reran our last episode where we did
right.
while we were in the middle of Ian. I think we recorded that episode. That's one way to ride out a hurricane. Is to talk about it right there in the middle of it. But like, we would have tried something different. Um, we knew for sure Sapphire Falls was going to take the dog,
Well,
so I didn't really want to risk that. I
sure.
knew that there was like Endless Summer, I believe, also would have taken him, and I
Uh-huh.
think Cabana Bay might have, but I don't know for sure.
Gotcha.
And so because there was just that uncertainty, I didn't want to risk it, and I
Right.
I might look into it a little bit deeper if I have a I don't the way the warnings are sometimes, like, it's not that it precludes me from evacuating, but it does make me go, I don't know if I want to ride it out here or at
Bro, yeah.
Universal,
Sure.
you know?
Sure.
So like
Well,
I do want to.
It seems like Florida is usually pretty on top of uh, dealing with hurricanes, at least like over the last 10 years or so.
Yeah, I got to be honest with you, Pat. This is not political in any way, shape, or form.
Sure.
Um, I want to also compliment the governor. One thing I will
Sure.
say, whatever problems that many people have with them, the man is a former naval officer, and he
Mhm.
is. This guy really should be running FEMA. All politics aside, he does a wonderful job of of coordinating where the trucks need to be and staging everything so that they can get power
Right.
back to people and they can get food and water to those who
Right. Yeah.
desperately need it.
Yeah.
Um, he's fantastic when it comes to coordinating those kinds of efforts. And part
Sure.
of it is, look, the state of Florida has to go through it, but
Yeah.
we get more
Just
storms.
what it is. Right.
you know that's why, unfortunately, what happened tragically up in Asheville and the vicinity up
Yeah.
there,
It's very
you
sad.
know it's really is tragic, and we were affected by that storm too, by the way. Like, it
Sure.
came through Orlando. That's one of the
It's
two
different.
hurricanes that I was talking about,
Right. Right.
on
That's
earlier
not
in
something
the
that happens there, so they're just not ready for something like that.
Yeah, why would you?
Mhm.
And so, like, the once not in a lifetime, I would say once in a decade storm, you
Sad.
can't
Yeah.
logistically prepare for something like that. That's not fair
Hmm.
to ask
Right.
of those folks. So,
Sure.
my hearts go out to those people and everything
Yeah.
like that. And that's what I mean by it makes me really appreciate what the kind of response that Floridians do get, because
So
the state efforts are so used to it, they're very good at
right.
it.
Yeah. 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 Let me ask you a question. So does this make you more likely to start looking in? So this is your second experience with Universal. Both have been excellent experiences. Does this make you more likely to now start sniffing around, going to the park, or what?
No, no, but not
No.
for the reason, not not for the reason that I think there's a um, downgrade in attractions or anything like that.
What? Why?
From Amanda's experience, we talked about it on this show. She had a wonderful time when she went and got
Sure.
to ride all the different rides as part of her um, teacher day or whatever for eighth grade.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I'm not worried about like my experience there.
Yeah.
What I'm worried about still, and I don't know if you guys can tell or not, I've actually lost a shit ton of weight. Like I've
Good.
lost close to about 75 pounds now.
That's amazing.
I mean, maybe a little
Yeah.
bit more actually. You know, so that I'm on the right path, but I'm still
Yeah.
not small enough, I think, to really get the full experience over at Universal because they're not as
Got it.
accommodating from a size perspective. And I know, I've
Well, you're a big dude. You're
bemoaned,
tall too. You know.
yeah. I mean, I've bemoaned
I like come up to your
Tron.
armpit.
Yeah, I know, right? We should get a picture like that the next time. Steve is even shorter, I feel like, but whatever, it's fine. We'll get the measuring tape out when we get you both down here. We'll figure out who's taller for sure.
I think Steve's taller.
I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. That's all I'm saying. You're both shorter than me. That's what matters. That's what
True.
matters, right? But, like their
If I
attractions
put him
just
up on
don't
my
have
if I put him
space.
up on my shoulders, we're taller than you, though. So
Yes, that's true. If you guys wanted to do like the trench coat thing, yeah, absolutely, that'd work.
right.
Yeah, it seems
Okay.
like a
So
Harlem
so
Globetrotters
that's the
type
reason why you,
plan.
you think Disney's more accommodating to you for that for that reason.
Universal, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
So from a theme park attraction perspective, I can get
Yeah.
on most of the rides. There's a
Okay.
couple that are a tight squeeze. Test Track was one. Ugh, that was awful.
Yeah.
And like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, there's a reason why we haven't reviewed it. That's the big attraction at
Gotcha.
Magic Kingdom that we haven't
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
even
I could see that.
typed in
Yeah.
about. Last time I wrote it, I was actually around this weight, so I might be more willing to try it next time that I do go. But uh, it was a ball crushing experience for me. Those seats are just like this
Yeah.
thin, and
Yeah.
yeah, if you don't position yourself just so, oh, it hurts. So
True.
yeah, uh, I don't want to like spoil that theme park experience. I want to be able to enjoy everything, and because
Sure.
I'm on the right track, I feel like yeah, in the future, I'm absolutely open to it. But like, I'm not dropping my annual pass for a Universal one tomorrow. Not until I lose weight.
So you did get a
No,
AP. You
I still
did.
haven't
No.
renewed. No, seriously, I haven't renewed, and I don't know that I am. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm serious when I say that a lot of these pricing things have really like drastically affected my opinion of
Mhm.
Disney. And when you compare my experience at Universal, where they waived the pet fee, where they were accommodating, they gave me a great rate, they
Late
said bring the
checkout.
dog, they let me check out late. By the way, where I was going with all that story, by the way, is that I didn't get done with anything, checking out the power and all that stuff. We didn't get out of there until like 3 or 4 o'clock on that Thursday. So we stayed literally a day and a half and they charged us a day.
That's nice.
I
Yeah.
mean, how huge is that for somebody who
Yeah.
just doesn't know if
It's
they
just it's
want,
good service.
a- and it's an understanding of the situation.
Sure.
Like I am all for being a capitalist. There's nothing wrong with making money. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. Where it becomes wrong is when you gouge people needlessly, and when you do stuff that's kind of anti-consumer. And Universal seems to be just very, very accommodating right now. I really do think that they are desperately trying to change that reputation in their lead up to um Epic Universe opening. And
Yeah.
I, one of the cool things that I will say, they don't have the exact same preview channel type system like they do over at Disney, but they
Right.
actually had a little bit of a preview channel to a degree for their new stuff. Uh,
Okay.
and not Epic Universe proper. I didn't really watch much of that. Um, but what struck me is their new Helios resort that they're building.
Yeah.
That looks spectacular. And it looks like something that Disney should have done a long, long time. But
Hmm.
I am very interested in seeing something like that.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
really stepping
Well, they're
up their
building
game.
multiple hotels, aren't they?
Yes, and they're
Yeah.
connected to Epic Universe too. Just
Yeah.
like
The one
Disney
is. The
led the
one is
way.
right in it. Yeah.
Disney led the way with that, with California Adventure having
Yeah.
the park directly connect like
Yep.
that. Same thing with, I guess, sort of kind of like Beach Club and Boardwalk and Yacht Club and all that, because they have that walkway to the International Gateway to a degree,
Sure.
right? But
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
like Universal is taking that and saying, okay, your
Sure.
move, and they've really
Right.
done
Well,
a big job.
in Japan, they already that's how Disney has a couple of the I think two of both the parks over there have hotels that are attached directly to the theme park.
That was a
So
concept. Like I've really been kind of getting into like the Disney YouTube history type stuff. I've been really fascinated by the Michael Eisner era, right up until Frank Wells passed.
okay, once he
And
passed, yeah, that was
man, the way that he approached design was very interesting. And the a lot of the stuff that I've seen like says that what the plan was for Tower of Terror was for it to be a functional hotel. Like
oh really?
that was the want
That
from the get go.
would have been crazy.
Would have been fucking awesome.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, yeah. Oh man, that would have been
Now
crazy. I didn't know that.
he got talked down from that, but like that was a
That was
big
Eisner's
time.
idea.
Yeah. So like that was he was shooting for that kind of experience like back in the day, and that's not something that Disney's shooting for now. They're shooting for Riviera. They're shooting for the Fort Wilderness reflections that aren't the cabins or the place where you sleep in a tent, but also it's a deluxe resort. Come here. Isn't that what it's going to be called?
Sure. I mean, I'll say this. I think the Polynesian Tower looks awesome inside. I think the rooms look awesome. The exterior looks just like Alani. I mean, same colors, and then the some of the graphics, the art graphics they're putting on it look cool. But I think I don't know. I think the inside, and then the restaurant looks cool. They have that it's like that water feature that runs through the restaurant, which I think is awesome. I don't know. I mean, now the cabins are, but
Um, I would say this. While I agree with you that I think the Polynesian Tower looks nice, and I'm willing to hold judgment. I've
yeah,
done that on the
I have the
Nodcast a
whole
couple
time. Yeah,
times.
me too. Yeah.
Where I've said I'm trying to give it the grace because a lot of people are bitching about the views and the sight lines, and like I think like as a guest that might be a game changer of an experience, especially those like little
Well,
bungalow things there where you can watch the fireworks from.
oh yeah,
Um,
in those little rooms.
yeah,
Yeah, those big
like
windows. That's fucking awesome.
it is, and it's a feature that
Yeah.
I'm completely on board with. Right,
Yeah.
where where I get frustrated with Disney is that I've been there, done that with the Polynesian theme. You've done it once with the actual resort itself.
Uh huh.
You overdid it with Adventureland to a degree with that same sort of theme, which was by
Yeah.
design. But to be fair, I'm not saying that it was bad. I'm just saying that it was done.
Uh huh.
Um, but on top of that, you have Alani as as another Hawaiian,
Yeah.
Polynesian, that
Polynesian. Yeah.
the Pacific Island cultural experience.
Hmm.
Like they've done the best that they can with it with Alani. It's just not at Disney World. Like,
Yeah.
it's been done better there, where we're not getting anything new and we're not getting anything that could be better than what we have in Hawaii with that resort and that theme. So why not step up and try to do something that's different and new? And with the same thing, this is the same problem that I have with this Reflections Fort Wilderness, whatever the fuck
Yeah.
it's going to be. Like, it's not a new theme. It's at best, it's a extension of Wilderness Lodge,
Yeah.
sort of.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what it is. I mean, I really, I mean, we saw pictures of it a long time ago. So I'll withhold judgment there too. But no, I get what you're saying. You're thinking like, um, put a hotel, a resort that has a completely different theme, like maybe an Egyptian theme or
Right.
whatever,
There's got to
No,
like
I get it. Yeah.
so there's something about the what I know of Roman and Greek history, that there's something about opulence associated with those two cultures that would be very desirable as a
Sure.
resort guest. So
Yeah.
the Helios Resort over at Universal screams Greece as a theme and everything.
Uh-huh.
And so again, that's kind of saying to me a little bit of, laying around on a lounge somewhere eating grapes like that, and shit, like
Yeah.
that's what I'm thinking when I think of something like that as a theme. Whereas
Sure.
I'm thinking of camping when I'm thinking of all this wilderness bullshit. And I fuck camping.
I just went camping, but anyways.
Yeah, and how miserable were you? It was cold. I mean,
No.
you weren't comfortable. There's no way you were
Oh,
comfortable.
okay. Yeah, I was. I had a cot, and then I had a 4-inch foam pad that had air. I slept great.
Okay. When you say camping, I'm
I was
talking
in a tent.
sleeping bags and shit.
Oh no, I'm not sleeping. Just a sleeping bag.
Yeah,
No way.
exactly. All right, all right. That's what I'm talking about. You know.
Uh,
So anyway, that's my
no, I get it. I get what you're
disappointment
saying.
there is, and like Riviera is an example that what could
I like
have
the
been.
Riviera.
It's not that it's bad. I like the
Yeah,
rooms fine. It's
yeah,
everything else about Riviera it's bland, and like it doesn't actually look like the Riviera. Like, if you look at the photos of the Riviera, it looks nothing like that resort.
sure, sure.
So why are we calling it that?
I don't know.
Like, so this is
I
my
don't know.
problem.
I like the. I know the Riviera gets dumped on a lot, but the inside of that, just like the
The
marble
restaurant,
flooring and the
the restaurant
restaurants,
is amazing. The
the quick
actual rooms
service is
themselves.
amazing.
We
Even
didn't. I don't think we reviewed it, and I didn't want to technically review it, but we got a room tour of
okay,
the of Riviera because my
that's right.
dad, uh, got us a reservation over at Topolino's, and walked up to the DVC desk and was like, "Hey, can I take a look?" Like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
What the
they'll
hell? Why
let
not?
you in. Yep. Uh huh.
So we did a room tour of it. It it really is beautiful
Yeah, they're
on the
nice.
inside.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it genuinely is.
Hmm.
But the exterior, like, it's not great to look at. Doesn't
Eh,
look at like what you say it's supposed to look like. And like, this is where the current iteration of Disney Imagineering is falling apart for me. They have this premise that they want me to run with, but like, logic brain doesn't turn off for Bobby. So I can't drop my disbelief if you ask me to take
uh,
too big of a leap with something.
sure. Yeah.
And
And,
like, with the resort in particular, like, this is where Wilderness Lodge does it great, and Animal Kingdom Lodge does it great, and
mhm.
Riviera does it piss poor. Is that you feel
Right.
like you are there,
Right.
whatever resort,
Yeah.
whichever, pick either one. You
Look.
are
Yeah.
in Africa or in the Pacific Northwest, right
Sure.
there.
I mean, I think the difference is like you said, you're at the Riviera. It's a really nice fucking resort, right? But when you're in Animal Kingdom, it just transports you somewhere else.
And
That's the way I see it.
that's what Helios is going to do to a degree.
Maybe we have to see it.
No, just from the previews, I'm telling you,
Yeah,
it looks amazing. And I don't know what it's going to be
great.
priced at. I'm sure it's going to be priced at the same ridiculous rates as some of the
Yeah,
Disney.
that's it.
But
Universal's just as much
Universal's
as Disney,
resorts aren't,
you know.
but like even their most expensive resort is not as high as Disney.
Not yet.
I don't think it's going to get to as high as Disney though.
Maybe.
I think it's going to jump,
Yeah,
but I don't think it's going to
sure.
climb because their market right now, their strategy, the one that's going to win them over in the hearts and minds of the general public is to be the cheaper alternative that's just as good.
Yeah, but their tickets are the same price. They still have
No, they're not.
they still
You
do
know what?
the paid
Let's
fast pass service.
let's
You
talk
know.
about that. Let's talk about that. What a segue, sir. What a segue. It's almost like you and I have hosted a show together before. Let's talk
Right.
about this new Lightning Lane super duper Premier Pass thingamajig that
Mhm.
just got.
Is it called Premier Pass?
It is
What's it
called
called?
Premier Pass.
Okay.
The Lightning Lane Premier Pass. It's LLMP, LLPP,
Awesome.
LL. It's all bullshit. Okay. Anyway, what Disney has done is listen to guest feedback. They have heard, I think, a lot of people's cries for a more expensive, less inclusive line skipping service. And if you are going to have to pay for a line skipping service, I don't want to have to fucking deal with this app thing where I have to make a
Yeah.
reservation. And you can't tell me that if I'm going to pay this much money to get into your theme park, that I can't ride this ride.
Right.
Well, they heard all of those complaints and they wrapped it all up and said, okay, now pay us money for it.
Yeah, but they somewhat heard.
Oh,
You know.
they listened. They listened.
Yeah.
They just didn't hear the other part, which was, and stop fucking charging us money for it. Now,
Look.
having said that, this is the worst possible scenario mishmash of line skipping measures that I could have ever come up with.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said it here on the Notcast. You either have to go for broke with the VIP tour, or have nothing else, or go back to the original fast pass system.
For me, like if they got rid of the fast pass system and just had the Premier Pass, and then had the Premier Pass cost you $129 or whatever. So you got the choice. So you could go into the park, you could get this Premier Pass. You don't have to look on your phone. You don't have to be searching all the times. You don't have to be adjusting here and there. You can just take your fucking magic band or your watch and go into a ride, whatever ride you want. I think that would be great for a lot of people.
Fantastic. No, it sounds fantastic. It sounds wonderful.
Because it would probably, if you had this and whatever price it was, and people paid for it, but there'd probably be a lot of people that didn't pay for it. You know,
see, here's the thing.
And so your standby lines would probably be a lot better.
You know what this sounds like, though, Pat? It sounds to me like what the original situation was with regards to a park ticket and fast pass when it originally debuted. A park ticket at that time was still very expensive for a theme park, and you were still standing in line for a long ass time. So just having that one ability to be able to target certain attractions that you know you wanted to hit
Mm-hmm.
like that made the ticket more valuable. Like you felt like you were getting something more for your money. And now with this, you feel obligated to also have to buy at the minimum the multi-pass now to get
I guess.
any sort of any attraction in of any worth.
Ah,
Or you have to buy not the VIP tour, but a shitty version of it where you can't
Yeah.
park hop, where you have to stay at one park and you're subject to pricing structures that are fucking insane and variable.
Mm-hmm.
Like Animal Kingdom, like, I'm sorry, charging $129 now?
Oh yeah, it's crazy. But the worst thing about this is, $129 for Animal Kingdom's bullshit, and the highest is $199. That's, I mean, you got to be out of your fucking mind to do that.
Yeah.
Um, but the worst thing about it is no repeating of it. So you're spending $129 at Animal Kingdom. You cannot repeat an attraction.
No.
You cannot park hop.
Nope.
So you can't buy, like, okay, for Magic Kingdom, it's the minimal cost for Magic Kingdom is $329.
Correct.
You can't ride Big Thunder Mountain Railroad 15 times if you wanted to.
Nope.
Just get one.
Just once.
And after spending that $329, I want to go over to Epcot. You can't use it, even though you spent the max.
That's
I get
correct.
buying it just for Animal Kingdom and not being able to use it anywhere else, but buying it Magic Kingdom, you should be able to use it everywhere.
Agreed. That would be sensible.
It's just crazy to me.
Especially if you bought in the park hopper option on the pass.
On your ticket. Yeah.
Like, that's like preventing you from maximizing that option.
I just don't know who came up with this idea. You know, it just like
An accountant.
they probably had these accountants sitting in a room. Yeah, it's an accountant for sure. They're sitting in a room like, you know what, we should do this, and everybody's agreeing. Like, they could make this so much better and still charge money for it. It could be so much better.
I would prefer that they didn't, though.
I know, but they're going to. The accountants are going to change. They're going to charge money.
Patrick. They don't. It's not that they don't need to charge money. Okay, let me just go ahead and clarify this. Disney should cost money. Okay, I'm not saying that it shouldn't cost money, but they shouldn't fucking gouge people, and they shouldn't take away stuff that once made a ticket valuable, and then not lower also the price.
Here's what I think's going on. I think this is what's going on. I think they're raising the price. They're looking at how high they can get the price, pricing out a bunch of people, still make profits, and be able to disperse crowd with price control. Like, as they keep on raising it, dropping people out. As long as they're still hitting their profit margins, they're going to keep doing it.
Okay,
that's my thing.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
And that could be they could price out you, and then next maybe I could be priced out.
Oh no! This show is teeter tottering. Okay, like we still have not renewed our annual pass, and right now I don't know that I should, because wife just had surgery. Seriously, she just had surgery. That's going to take some time to recover. I'm a season ticket holder for a football team, so half of my weekends are already called for. And to be honest with you, even when I'm not like at the game, I'm watching it. It's a thing. I'm a fan, So like, fuck, it's important to me. Stupid, but it's important to me. So like the amount of time that I have is even more limited right this second. So I feel like I need to enjoy, if I'm going to enjoy anything, I need to enjoy it in little itty bitty spurts, right? And that's not conducive to going to a theme park. It's just not.
I guess. I mean, I don't know what that experience is living there.
So for me,
it's quite different than my experience.
Yeah. So think of it this way. Okay, I've got a 45-minute drive there and back. It's an hour and a half right there. Okay, I've got probably if I'm going to do Magic Kingdom, I've got 30 minutes to get from the parking lot to the gate at a minimum, and another 30 minutes back.
Yeah.
probably. So that's another
Mhm.
hour. So that's 2.5 hours right there. And I haven't even had a chance to ride the first ride, you know? And then I've got, all right, now I'm in. Now I'm in and I'm in line for one ride. And fuck, it's 90 minutes.
Aladdin's magic carpets.
Yeah. So that's not conducive to a short spurt experience. But like maybe going to Disney Springs, maybe popping over to a resort and grabbing a drink at one of the bars, maybe grabbing dinner or something like that. I can do a little bit more. I would love to do more resort reviews here. The Chris who we had on the Notcast, I don't know if he got to stay at Saratoga, but I'd love to
Oh
talk
yeah,
to him if he
yeah.
did,
Hmm.
and get like a real like actual recent review of that resort
Sure.
because we
Yeah.
did kind of badmouth it on the Notcast.
We talked
Uh,
a lot of shit on that.
and I felt a little bit guilty, and I'm the one who's actually stayed there and had a shitty
Yeah.
experience. You know,
I've never stayed there. It like I said, at some point I'll probably stay there. It just I know what I like. So
yeah, and it's not that I don't. I'm saying right. I mean, we're both middle aged men. We're set in our ways, but like
yeah.
the set in my ways that I am right now is boring, and maybe I'm just getting like to that point of midlife crisis where I'm like, I don't want to do the same fucking thing over and over again. But like, I don't want to do another Old Key West overnighter, not because I don't like Old Key West, but because I've done so many.
You need to go to the Polynesian.
But I don't like that theme though. I don't. It's not high on my priorities to like
It's
go and
not.
check out. I've hung out there plenty. I love Trader Sam's. I love walking over there
I'm
and
talking about
grabbing.
the new joint. The new joint.
I mean, I'm
Tower.
willing. Like I said, I'm willing to give it a shot, but it's going to be a pain in the ass to get a room there.
Well, I can get a
It's
room
going
there
to
anytime.
be. It's going to. Okay, but it's also going to be expensive from points perspective, and unless you are donating, um, I like no offense, buddy. Like there's only so many of those nights that I can pull
Right.
over the
Yeah.
course of a
I
year.
got you.
Plus we
Yeah.
got to travel for ourselves at some point. Like
Sure.
uh,
Yeah.
and I'm feeling less and less connected to Disney these days.
Sure.
They keep seemingly taking away the things that I loved about Disney and saying that's not for you anymore.
Right.
And I don't mean that from a um like ooh this is political. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about
Yeah.
like the values that I had on the theming of resorts
Sure.
or
I mean,
something.
anybody who watches this fucking show or watches the Notcast knows that it has nothing to do with politics with you. It's just how you feel,
There's a
the
lot
value you're
that
getting from the company and their management and what they've done over the last decade or so,
I
I
feel like
guess.
it's important because like this topic can be used as a cudgel these days. I mean, I have a news alert on my iPhone, and I'm constantly getting like ping after ping after ping for Disney as a topic, and it's oh, what did Kathleen Kennedy do this time, and like okay, there's an
Yeah.
element to me that understands why people are like that, like because
Right.
there is like a hint of truth to a lot of what they say,
Sure. Right.
but also like there's I'm strictly talking about this as an evaluation of an experience, and
Sure.
my genuine experience has just been declining and declining and declining, and I'm seeing it more in real time than you guys are.
Sure.
Because I'm
Yeah.
not getting a long break where I get nostalgic and I long to go back and it'll be just as good and I don't get that
I always
long
have
break
fun.
anymore.
Yeah.
I get like it's been a while. You know what? It's been a few weeks since we've been on property, and like I feel a little bit more relaxed, not
Okay.
feeling compelled to go.
Okay. Well, I mean that's a decision you got to make, right? I mean,
Yeah,
to me,
and I
I'm locked in. I'm locked in
yeah,
for like
you're
40 years unless I sell.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's part of why I'm
But I love
like,
it. I still love it.
look, I was genuinely considering like grabbing a Vero Beach contract at one point because the points were so cheap, and yeah, the dues were higher, but like
Yeah.
the way that we could experience Disney,
Yeah.
like that could have been a game changer for us, because we could
For
have picked
sure.
and chosen like if nights were available last
Yeah.
minute,
Yeah.
and that's not something that you guys could do
No.
as DVC. So
No.
like the thought had occurred, and I'm so glad I did, because now I'm not locked in. And like
Yeah.
part of that changing relationship that I've talked about with the parks when you do become a local is that you
Mhm.
do kind of yearn for something a little bit more real, if that
Uh-huh.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it is a show. Everything that they do is a show. And
Of
so
course.
you kind of want to have like a real life experience sometimes, it feels
I
like.
agree.
And that's part of the problem with living in the magic, is that nothing seems real anymore sometimes,
I gotcha.
you know?
Yeah. Makes sense. For sure.
And especially when you become disillusioned with all the magic and everything like that, all of a sudden the like fucking the prices, like they just seem
uh,
outrageous.
yeah.
They
Yeah.
absolutely do.
Yeah. I mean, but everything that you do nowadays has just gone through the roof. I mean, literally everything
I don't
has gone.
disagree with you, Pat, that the cost
Except
of
my
everything
painting
has gone.
prices. My painting prices held the same for a couple of years. So,
And do we want to include a link in this here podcast to Pat's painting company? No. But like in all honesty, though, like I value something like Animal Kingdom Lodge a lot more than you guys do, because Steve's
I love
always.
it. I love Animal Kingdom Lodge, and I stay there just about every time we come
I know,
because we're
I know.
staying we're staying in Kadati Village this time around
Okay,
for 2 nights. So I got a two
and
bedroom there. So
forgive me then. Let me rephrase.
and
The other
Becky owns
main,
there. Becky owns there.
yeah,
It's
and the
Steve.
other main voice of the show is critical
Yeah,
of that resort.
he doesn't like
Uh,
the bus rides.
but
But I
well, I
don't
get
mind it. I don't
that.
mind it at all. I don't care.
I
I think
just
that place is it's
it's bullshit.
extraordinary. It's just, and we're bringing my mom this time, and that's one of the places I want her to experience because there's not many places in really that you can think of that are like Animal Kingdom Lodge. You know?
Yeah, there's only one, actual Africa. That's
Yeah.
the only other
So
place that you can do this.
yeah.
Certainly not to that opulence. Certainly not to that safety. Certainly not to that luxury.
Right.
Even in America, like what we're going to some hillbilly thing. Watch Tiger King. That's what we're talking
Yeah.
about here as your option as an Animal Kingdom Lodge alternative is Tiger
Right.
King. So uh,
Yeah.
that's a once in a life that should be a once in a lifetime experience. That's the kind of thing that I would value. And
Yeah. That's why
so when I see cash prices and I see stuff like Polynesian being like $700 a night and contemporary being $900 a night, I'm like, are you fucking high?
yeah, it's crazy.
Like, how are you paying these prices for this when you get something that is so unique and wonderful over here? It's literally like minutes down the road, and I don't want to deal with the buses.
But there's something special about being at the Polynesian, man, especially on vacation and you're that close to Magic Kingdom. It's awesome.
There's
I
something
love it.
special about that if it was real, I think. Like there's something special about like going to the beach for the first time and you walk up to that kind of tacky tiki bar and
Yeah.
you have your toes in the sand and you have that first cold drink. Oh, it's wonderful. It's a great experience. It's better
Yeah.
when it's at the beach than it is at the Polynesian, and I'm just as close to the beach as I am to the Polynesian. So why not go have the drink at the beach?
What I like about the Polynesian is I can sit on one of the patios and just watch Magic Kingdom like come alive. And to me, I like that. I like just sit out with my coffee, just watch it go. And it's relaxing, just seeing the boats, the monorail, and just take it all in,
I can understand that to a degree, and
and the
this
noises,
if this were the
sounds.
Notcast, I'd just make fun of you for it. But I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But well, I got to be quicker on the Notcast than I do here, right? It's my show, so I can fucking talk as long as I want.
Sure.
To a point, I'm sure he'll cut me off at some point. Here, I'm sure. Uh,
Yeah.
But I, I just, I don't think that Disney is concerned about providing you with a real experience. I think they're concerned about providing you with a Disney experience. And so, while I agree with you that taking in that
Oh yeah.
atmosphere for Magic Kingdom and the fairy and the smell of the popcorn in the distance and so on and so forth, I understand that appeal. Um, but like, I want something more than that too, I guess. Um, like there's some of that I want, but I've had that, and the way that Universal is stepping up their game with the experiences that they're coming out with,
Hmm.
it makes me question why Disney wasn't trying to do that more sooner, particularly when they
Yeah.
had Rise of the Resistance as like the game changer for Galaxy's Edge, when they could have done something so much better with Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, they could have done something so much better with Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
so,
Galaxy's Edge is great. It's themed great, but it's
but
themed to those movies.
it, is it themed great? Like, okay, so is it great?
I think
Because
it is. I think like
clearly,
the architecture and that what do you call it, the shops where all the shops are. I think that
yeah,
area is awesome. It's awesomely themed. The buildings, I like everything about it aesthetically, but
you
what
know
I
what I
don't
don't
like
like?
about what I don't like about Galaxy's Edge is that you don't see the characters that you love.
Well, yeah, that's fair.
No Han
Um,
Solo at the Millennium Falcon. No Darth Vader. No
they do at
Luke
least
Skywalker.
they do at least dangle Chewbacca at you every now and then, but still, it's kind of
Whatever.
shitty. Anyway, what I don't like
Yeah.
about Galaxy's
Yeah.
Edge is that I feel like it's a shopping mall. I feel like it's like a really well themed shopping mall, like the best themed shopping mall, but it's still a shopping mall. Like,
Yeah.
you walk through the lightsaber shop, and that's cool to look at, and
Yeah.
I'm guilty. I bought one a long ago. It doesn't work
I've never.
anymore,
I would never.
but like, I bought one.
Yeah.
um I, it's not.
Yeah.
No, okay. That I've done it, had the experience. I don't need it anymore. Same thing with, I don't care for one of those robots or whatever, but if you walk through the rest of the shops or whatever over by the place where you get the sausage wrap thing, I
Yeah.
don't know, whatever it's called,
Ronto Wrap.
that, yeah, it's just a place to buy toys. It's like walking through a fucking Toys R Us that is like a super well themed Toys R Us.
I mean, I don't necessarily see it that way, but I guess I see your point.
I-
But
like, so much of what Disney was concerned about, I feel like, with that, because they dedicated so much space to it, was commerce. They wanted you to buy stuff, and I get why they
oh yeah,
want you to buy
but
stuff.
people want to buy stuff. That's the
I,
thing.
okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with them buying stuff. I'm not saying that you don't sell them things either. I'm saying, like,
Like, why wouldn't you sell
that's not.
lightsabers in that experience? Why
I
wouldn't they?
guess what I'm
That'd be
saying is,
stupid.
I don't want the attraction to be something that I need to buy. I want the attraction to be the thing that I'm riding or that I'm experiencing. And that's the kind of thing that prices me out. It's the kind of thing that lessens my experience and makes me feel excluded as a guest, because I don't get to have that same thing because you made it so much more expensive.
Yeah. I mean, I've never had the experience of buying a lightsaber. I I would never. I wouldn't pay that for a lightsaber.
Oh, I didn't
So
build
I
one.
just don't. I
I
just
just
don't feel
bought one.
like I needed to. Yeah, no, I get. I yeah. I just don't feel like I like going through that shop and looking at the lightsabers. But I don't know. I don't feel like I have to buy anything or
It
I
was
just
fun. Me and Amanda stabbed each other with it. Yeah, might be the reason why she needs gallbladder surgery. So,
could be.
so anyway, look, I think that ultimately with this multipass thing to like wrap that thread up. Look, this is the worst possible scenario. Uh,
Yeah.
if you're gonna do it, you should have
Stupid.
done one or the other. Make it super expensive and super exclusive,
Cut off the one.
or
Yeah.
just make it free. Make it a free for all and go back to the old.
Cut multi-pass, whatever, single pass, have this premier pass.
At some
You can price it
point,
whatever the fuck you want, and then
stop saying that. At some point, I want
that's what they
Disney
do.
but I want them to consider the guest experience first. And
Okay, when you
if you keep saying stuff
you
like,
put an
and you can
application.
charge for it, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah, but that's what they're thinking. They're accountants. Their accountants think, how can we
Well,
make money?
This is why I want change
Maybe you
at
need
the
to apply
company.
for Disney and then work your way up.
Yeah. They trust me. They ain't hiring me. I don't. I've never applied, but I'm pretty sure once they Google me, they're gonna go,
Nope.
nope. Even if it
Meet this
was
guy.
to improve everything that they do. If I was the guy that they were bringing in to fucking fix everything, they still would go, no,
Oh.
no way. He says the F word way too much.
So scale of 1 to 10, Universal Sapphire Falls.
For hurricane stay, 10 out of 10, 20 out of 10, 1,000.
So you recommend it to anybody in Central Florida.
100%.
Hurricane's coming. Go
if
there.
you are in the Central Florida area and a hurricane is coming and you have any concerns about flooding or losing power, please do not risk it. Please go to Universal's website or go to the Rosen family hotels websites. Both of them offer discounted rates to anyone in need of shelter during a hurricane. They are not outrageous. They are welcoming to pets. They understand that you are getting out of a situation because you have concern, and they are there to help you out because they are being good neighbors. So if you are in the path and you have to deal with this situation, I cannot recommend Universal enough. They have been nothing but accommodating and wonderful, and
Perfect.
it makes me overlook everything that I could have been upset about.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
I mean, that now, having said that, did get to see a little bit more of the resort at full operation. And honestly, if I'm rating it on just a general scale, like honestly, it's right around as 7.
7. Well, that's still pretty good, though.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what they're targeting though with that price point.
Yeah.
They're not targeting a 10. They're targeting a 7, and they hit the nail on the head.
There you go.
They really did. So it's definitely worth it to check out. And from this is where Universal is. This is where Universal is going to get me, because I love doing like little staycations and resort stays and stuff.
Sure.
They're going to get me with these prices on the hotels, because I'm not going to want to go to the Disney hotels when they're $900 a night.
No, that's just insane. I mean, that's the one good thing about DVCs. You don't have to pay those prices.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. You just have to buy in for 40 some odd years. That's not selling your soul at all. It's fine. Right. Patrick, you are the CFO of NotClub33.com. Could you please promote something? Perhaps that website.
I would say NotClub33.com. And every Friday, the Notcast. What time? It's Magic Kingdom time, 3 o'clock.
4 p.m. 4 p.m.
4 p.m. Eastern. I always take my time Central, 3 o'clock. So if you're in Central time zone, 3 o'clock. Eastern time zone, 4 o'clock. And so on and so on. So
yeah, nobody cares about you Central people. No, really, nobody ever cares about the mountain people. Like Colorado, nobody gives a shit.
No.
Montana, nope.
Man. Nope.
There's like 3 people there. Nobody cares.
Oh, I recommend this show.
Oh, thank you.
Right? Usually every Monday, typically.
Most every Monday. Provided we definitely have something to talk about, or, aren't having a hurricane bearing down on us and stuff. So most of the time, yes.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Or not having surgery. We'll see. Hey, listen, Pat may be back again next week. So I thank you so much again for joining me.
Sure. Anytime.
We wish, of course, my wife a speedy and wonderful recovery.
Yep.
I have no doubt that she will be just fine and everything like that. But nonetheless, it's a pain in the ass for her. So, wish her well, you guys. I love you, baby. Mwah. So, guys, thank you so much for joining us again. We appreciate it. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel or, to the podcast feed. And you've rated us, commented, done all that jazz. It helps get us exposed to more listeners, and especially on video. I'm tired of exposing myself. This is an OnlyFans, okay? I'm just not. I'm an HVAC guy. I'm not prepared for fans. I'm just not. So, join us again next time. We actually are going to have one more review with Amanda. We are going to review a bar that we recently visited over at Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Nice.
So look forward to that. And thanks again for joining us, guys. Until next time, have yourselves a magical fucking day.